Yeah.
Van Glorious Vanguard.
Knowledge born.
Yeah.
United Front.
Tell it.
What you want, what you want, what you want.
To the Knowledge Radio.
We in here. What you got? Dot.
Work hard as a slave to one day be your savior. The wave unwavering. This is a labor of love. Rise with a purpose every day. Invigorated. If we were on TV, we'd be 10 times syndicated. If we waited for validation, a paycheck or accolades, we'd be starved, already lost or ran away. But when you're square, solid, and you circle too, you don't need a place for silence. The concept is conquered through media, not areas of people activity. A mix that don't lose ethnicity, tightness that don't lose elasticity. Explicitly, this isn't where we give the novice regard. Nah, this is where knowledge is born. Last time that I checked, I'm undefeated. Deliver edicts, can't resist when the gods build and manifest freedom. When lines get crossed, they may push a loss, cause they get handed a check. We kick the can and cancel your cancerous gestures. A prophet vision, precision, the prescription for the sickness is to inoculate your fate with the winning. Arrogant beginnings turn to humble endings. And US with KBA is a win-win. 1K, 1K.
Knowledge born. What's the science, baby?
Peace, peace, peace. Peace from Black Power Family. Welcome to another episode of Do Knowledge Radio. Place where knowledge is born. This is your host, Knowledge Born Alive. Here on this after midnight, Knowledge Born. What's the science? Got a lot to cover, a lot to discuss. So we're going to bring in the reason for the season. The reason why we have Knowledge Born What's the Science After Midnight edition. The reason why this platform continues to flow in the way that it does. And a further solidifier of the stances that this platform stands on. A Black-only platform. And for those Black folk who celebrate and adhere to the protocol, laws, statutes, and commandments that affirm African life only, here on Do Knowledge Radio. So without any further ado, let me bring on the reason for the season. Let's see what you got for today, Sass, a.k.a. A Whole New World.
Shalom. Shalom, can I be heard?
Shalom, can I be heard?
Oh, man. AKA A Whole New World. Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Is it the Aladdin A Whole New World or just Nas A Whole New World or which one?
No, it's just what I chose. Not affiliated with any of that.
You're not affiliated?
No, because like when new people come and they speak to me or whatever, it's like they walking into a whole new world.
Damn.
Yes, it's like that.
Look at Swab.
Shalom, Swab boss.
Black Power. Black Power sound like Black Power. You know, ever since I heard Swab say that,
my bad.
I heard
Shalom
that metamorphosis try to change and morph into like all this other weird ass retarded shit to where it's ambiguous, and it's not ambiguous. You know, fags saying Black Power is not the same thing as Black Power evident in a Black life with Black people who affirm a Black future and who ready to take it to our enemies. That's what Black Power sound like. Not some fags running around or some crackers who ate enough fried chicken and stuck their nasty ass rod in some black women. That ain't black power. You don't know our struggle through finessing our women. You know our struggle from living in it. And some of these motherfuckers don't qualify. So these cave dogs who they had to put a law on the books to keep them off of their dogs out there in the UK. Dogs fucking dogs. They got laws on the books. Like they got laws on the books over here to keep them dogs off the sheep. Y'all better realize and recognize who the fuck y'all trying to be like and who y'all want to be equal to. Because they got situations now, Sass, where they talk about racial inequality. If you on top, somebody got to be on the bottom, right?
They don't understand that. I'm
Racial
saying they.
inequality,
Yeah.
wealth
They don't
gap,
understand that.
achievement gap.
Yeah, it
They
shouldn't.
start
They're
talking
saying, well,
that.
yeah, it shouldn't be that way. What do you say about that?
They start talking about inequities and look, whenever they're pandering to our enemy, they always want to sound real deep.
He took out equality and replaced it with the word equity. So yeah, that's the new
Equity,
thing. That's a new
right?
fad. Yeah, and they got that from the wife of that president, Donald Trump. Because ever since she said it, all of a sudden now everybody's saying it. So yeah,
That's the talking point, right?
right.
That's the talking point.
Yeah,
Look at
but I
Swab.
was
He's
but I was thinking,
shalom
yeah,
to you.
Shalom and Black Power Swap. Um, I was thinking about what you just said, and because I had been thinking about, what the brother Dawa said, like we can't even say like black first. Like you can't, like he was saying, you can't say that because if you're doing that, you're including black homosexuals. That's what he's saying. He's saying because they're taking it and running with it. He said we got to be careful, black people, with
Yeah,
that.
they're not black.
Right, right. So that's what he's saying. He's saying they're trying to use it to, you know what I'm saying? Like we can't even,
Yeah,
he
yeah,
said you got,
yeah.
so he doesn't say
Yeah,
it at all.
they really picked up this cracker culture in regards to seeking to include themselves in anything. Like you get like these little bastards who run around who are rejected where they are, and then they
Mm,
come to us.
right, right.
These
There's nowhere else to
miscreants,
go.
these
Mhm.
misfits, these
Right.
cave monkeys, these cave dogs who are
Mhm.
rejected where they are, and they come to us and
Right.
want to report. They want to report, and then we feel like we're vindicated because we have our enemies at our table.
Mhm.
This is where people like Bayard Rushton and the rest of these bastards come from. They come from this fag land. And then they try to equate a choice that they made with something that you can't help. You're born black. You can try to bleach your skin, but let me tell you something about your enemies. Your enemies know who ain't white. So when they say race is a social construct, white is a social construct for
It
them.
get deeper than that.
And
You know.
they have a hierarchy in regards to what's white.
Right. Right. There you go. Yeah. I gave an
They got
example in a movie.
go
Yeah.
ahead.
Mhm.
Go ahead. Go
I
ahead. Go
didn't I
ahead.
get didn't I give that example from a movie, like just a little, a little
Please.
easy example.
Yes.
Um and the movie V for Vendetta,
Hmm.
Creedy asks that a detective on the case, who's trying to find V, wasn't
Yeah.
your mother Irish? That's what he
Yeah.
said. You're
Yeah.
not a English person. Your mother's
Yeah,
Irish.
yeah,
No, we
yeah.
don't trust you.
Fucking
That's what he
Irish.
said.
Yeah. The same shit if they would have said the French.
Right. So
Yeah,
it gets deeper than that. So I mean, come on, you
yeah.
can't just change your
So
skin
you got the
color like
Polacks. They call them the Polacks.
right.
You see what I'm saying? Like,
It
like
grimy like that. Yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
And that's what they do amongst themselves. And then you think that you're gonna love them into righteousness.
Right.
You're gonna lullaby them into righteousness. You're gonna say, "Oh, what is the qualification for being black? A black mother and a black father." Last time I checked, right?
Exactly.
So how could you be other than and then say, "Okay, you don't meet these qualifications, so they must have some sub qualifications."
No, because the white man said one drop rule, and he was saying that to protect himself.
For
Let one
protecting
drop of
himself. It
blood,
got
right? He's
nothing to do
protecting
with
himself.
you.
Right.
Right. To,
Right.
to
Hmm.
further thin out a classification amongst them. That's
Right.
why. It got nothing to
Hmm.
do with us.
Right.
Oh, you with them. You with them. You know that term, right? You know that term. They was busting heads and killing motherfuckers. I just finished watching Glory, and they put out federal legislation for the black people who had signed up for the military before 1865. They said any black person, this is what they had put out in the movie, they echoing these sentiments. This is legislation. Any black person who had took up arms against the Confederacy, and they're supposed to be in a fucking war, right?
Right. Uh-huh.
Any black person who took up in the arms of the Confederacy and got captured, they're slaves. They would return to servitude. They would be the property of them. Everybody talking about Abraham Lincoln.
The fallen,
But
right?
those people who got captured, they said that any white person who was in command over these niggas that was in the military
I'm not
and they got
surprised.
captured, they would be killed for treason. And in tandem or consortium with insurrection
Against who?
against who? Against them.
The Confederacy, right?
Against the Confederacy.
Right.
And we
Okay.
supposed to be at a war, right?
Right. Right. Hmm.
This is legislation before the war even kicked off. This is what's signed into executive power and law. Like the psychological mind job that's in Glory. They said when they signed up for the Union Army that they would be paid $13 a month. And then they said because y'all are colored, this is a colored regiment, they're gonna pay you $10 a month. You see that?
Yep.
And they let a little revolt where they tore up their shit and said they wasn't gonna accept it. So now where did that money go back to? Like you gotta look at Glory with that psychological lens, with that cultural lens and all of that shit. And then they show a heinous thing like combat. You seen the movie, you know where it
Hmm.
goes. And
Yeah.
what I'm saying, we lived it in real life. We didn't need no
Hmm.
fucking movie for it. And the only two branches in the military, the Marines and the Army.
That's right. For real. For
Real
real.
shit. Where there's no cut on how relations are. You see it. You're not confused about it. You know where the fuck you stand. The other two branches, they try to mask it and
I don't know
talk
what that
about
is. Yeah.
skill set and rank and position and duty position and title and ranking style and all this
Boom.
other
Yep.
shit. There was none of that shit in the Army or the Marine Corps. You know where the fuck you stand. You know
I'm
where you
taking
stand.
more shots. I've been taking
A1.
shots at them all day. But
Yeah, I mean, but that's real. Like there's no illusion about it. In peace or in war, there's no illusion about it. In training or permanent party, there's no illusion about it. You know where the fuck you stand. And if you clueless about it, just like in Glory, this dude thought he grew up with these crackers and they was gonna treat him in some kind of way, and they beat the shit out of him, and he was crying. And he was trying to quit. I'm here to speak to you in private, and blah blah blah, and all this other shit. Like, man, they don't give a fuck about your life. So yeah, it was just nuts. So if you get a chance, it's on Netflix again. Go back and take a look at it and see the mind job. I said I was going to be watching Luke Cage again, but I was watching The Art of War in your honor again because it's up there.
Didn't
Wow.
they have legislation that if you fought in that war that after the war was won that
You're supposed to be
you would
free.
be freed? Yeah, and
Yeah.
they didn't even uphold that. Yeah.
Right. The British came with the same
Mhm.
shit.
Yeah.
Right. The British came with the same
Yeah.
shit. So you telling me now, like, look, they had defeated the British with your help, and you fought on the British side and they lost. So they couldn't give you shit, and neither could the motherfuckers in America. And then when this shit pops up again, oh, Civil War. If you fought on this side, you would be free. You weren't free. You were dead. You were good and dead. You weren't free. It was death, not freedom.
Yeah, but some still think that we're able to negotiate with them. Like, you look at your history, man. You
The
know,
Emancipation Proclamation was a proclamation, and Lincoln wasn't the president of the South. They had their
right,
own president. They had
right.
seceded from the
That's right.
Union. It had
Mhm.
nothing to do with
Nothing.
the 13
Right.
colonies.
Mhm.
So they killed him. Andrew Jackson came in into power, and the South, because he was a Southerner, his state, Tennessee, was the only state that didn't secede from the Union. So he came into power, and he told those bastards, if you wanted to come back into the Union, you got to pay your way, and you're responsible for all the damages that was incurred. Ball game. Ball game. And dead men don't tell tales, so they hung everybody that was responsible down to the horses in the gallows. The innkeeper bitch that gave them a room. They killed
Mhm.
every motherfucker body. Everybody. Oh, you gave them a room here? Oh, okay. Bring the bitch to the gallows. Oh, these are the horses that they rode in on? Hang the horses like the horses could talk. To the gallows. But these are people that y'all want to play nice with and say, oh, not all of them. And I don't deal in absolutes, but you absolutely can go against your people. You absolutely could go against your mother and father. You absolutely could go against your grandparents and your ancestors. You can absolutely go against your children, but you can't absolutely go against your enemies
Right. With that treasonous talk,
with that
because you ain't.
treason.
Yeah, because you're not even lifting your finger, but it's that talk. It's still
Right,
treason.
right. A perfect hatred.
That's right.
See, look, when I say perfect hatred, you understand. You see
Mhm.
that?
That's right.
Everybody understand that. When I
Mhm.
say hate with a perfect hatred, in love with a perfect love, like with a perfect hatred. When I say a perfect hatred, yeah, like the lights come on, and then some places the lights go off. They're like, what are you saying? Actually, there's no respect to person. They
Mhm. Right.
start playing that game.
Yep.
That's it.
But that has to do with your own nation.
Your
When you
own
bring up
nation.
that respect the person thing, that don't apply to
Yeah,
everyone. So.
yeah, yeah. Anything to try to make it appear. That's it. That's all
Mhm.
they have to do is try to make the appearance to embrace reasonable doubt.
Mhm.
God loves everybody. For Jacob, I have love. What? For Jacob I have love. What? For Jacob I have love. And what? And Esau I have hated. No, he loved Esau. No, for Esau I have hated.
God hate, because it's saying the Most High hates.
No, no, no. To the second and third generation, Esau. For Esau I have hated.
Yeah.
Go there. And that's the beginning of the journey of the separation. All of the ones who came to us with a nation building concept had to remind us again that they are our enemy. And everybody after who sought to humanize them came with that concept. Thou shalt not abhor Edomite. No respect to person and all that. Oh, that was baby language by the Nation of Islam early on. They didn't really mean it like that.
Speaking of no respect to persons, but but before I get into that, I was want to say that now, I know why the brother Dawa would say straight black pride, you know what I'm saying? And he
Right,
would say black straight power. You know what I'm saying? He add those words because he was seeing that it was being people were using that.
right.
You know what I'm saying? To like, so it's a shame that we have to keep modifying. But when you came in with the introduction, you were saying what black power was. So what I feel like we should not even have to change that. It should just already be known exactly what that is. So yeah, I don't think we need to change it. We just need to explain what it is and who it isn't for.
That's right.
Because if we have to keep adding stuff to it, I mean, you're gonna forget not see the black no more, and you ain't gonna see the power anymore. Like you'll see everything in between. So yeah, it's supposed to be known already. So yeah, we're gonna keep it as black. We're gonna make it black only, and we're gonna keep it black power. So that's how I feel about that. So I
I
understand
mean,
why he
it's
do it,
there.
cause
It's implied.
right, I
Black
understand why
power
he
is
do it.
black power is defined as that which is in the best interest
Right,
of black people to support and defend that which is in the best interest of black people. Define, support, and defend. Define, support, and defend. Define, support, and defend that which is in the best interest of black people.
right. If you're not promoting the black family, you are not a
Right?
part of any of this. You're a part of
That's it.
something else.
That's simple. My elder who coined the term, this is what it was. Baba Mukasa race, Mama Maimuna, first general under Kwame Ture. Because they like to paint these pictures from these leaders and think all they did was talk.
Right.
You wouldn't have political prisoners if all they did was talk. You don't get
Right.
locked up for talking.
Mhm.
You don't get locked up for talking. H. Rap Brown is not locked up for talking.
Yep.
Abu Jamal is not locked up for talking. Assad is not in exile for talking.
Right. Mhm.
Kwame Ture did not die from talking. If they can't change what you're talking about, they can change who you're talking to. That's the end of your talking. They would come to you and say, Malcolm was talking about integration at the end of his life. Where? They interviewed him coming back from Mecca and they asked him about integration. He said, I was never talking about no fucking integration. Where?
Yeah, you have to ask people to show it, and they can't because I've had a
They can't.
conversation. Right, I had a
They will
conversation with an
point
idiot.
to you
Right.
the movie and that raggedy ass book. What did he say out of his mouth? Oh, they go back to that UK speech that was kind of ambiguous, and he was in the debate, and he was talking about, in closing remarks. Oh, I'll work with anybody, no matter what color you are. Does that sound like integration? No, no. And he said that in context to where he was standing at the time. He was
No,
in the
yeah,
UK.
that has to be explained. Because no, that's not integration. Because we do see that,
Yeah,
our
he was.
nation will have to work with
Yeah,
others
right.
in
He
order to
wasn't
get
talking.
things,
Yeah, he
not
wasn't
bringing
talking
them
this
in.
allied shit or none of
Right,
that shit. He wasn't
right,
talking
not bringing them in.
immigration.
Right,
Why would he
that's
be
right.
going to the United
Hmm.
Nations and talking about human rights violation charges?
Right.
And when he said human, he wasn't talking about everybody. He was talking about black people.
We got to get that straight. Yeah.
Damn,
Yep.
that's the game they fucking playing. Anything to try to hang on to fucking nut hairs of these fucking bastards who are killing us wholesale. Well, you can't say that because all of them are not like, and then you just fill in the fucking blank. You fill in the blank. Damn, with Dr. Khaled. Look, that's why I play that sometimes just to ease my spirit and just to remind. This is an African dude talking to Dr. Khaled. Dr. Khaled started off with Idi Amin before the Nation of Islam. The Nation of Islam didn't bring no Africanity to his mind. He was already in Africa. He was already in Uganda working with Idi Amin. So it wasn't no after the Nation of Islam, all of a sudden I'm looking at Africa. He was already there before the Nation of Islam. When he was Harold. You see that? All of that shit, like when they come for you, they come to try to play this game. They played the game with Dr. Khaled like they played the game with Malcolm, like they played the game with Father Allah, like they played the game with Muhammad Ali. This is media playing this game to shape and mold the mind to paint you a certain kind of way. And then when it looked like you had changed, they come to you with that. Muhammad Ali talked the man off a fucking ledge. He got POWs released. Real shit. Malcolm X on the Iranian stamp. They play with you with this whole little situation. Like, oh, it was this or it's that or blah, blah, blah. It ain't none of that. It's a game, though. It's game, and they run the fucking game, and we just take the game hook, line, and sinker. Hook and reel, right?
Shout out to my brother Dala because he fighting that good fight. His
He
aim
lost
is
a
at
lot for
those.
that shit too. He
Yeah,
lost a lot for
he
that
did.
shit. Like
He can't
they
look.
came after him every fucking which way. Like he showed a way in regards to
Hmm.
that lane. There's some other
Definitely he
people
did.
that's in that lane, but he showed a lane, a way in that lane for loss. That's fucking lost. Then when they come for
Hmm.
you, they come for you.
Yeah.
Them fucking fudge packers, they come for you. They organize against you and all that.
Yep.
So as long as you had Bayard Rustin and James Baldwin and the rest of these fucking sissies running around here, everything was fine. The minute you try to stand against that, oh shit,
Yep.
the game changes.
That's his whole purpose to try to kill that noise over there, and it's a struggle and a half just on that alone. But yeah.
And how could you be someone who affirms black life? How
Hmm.
could you be someone who's responsible for the matrix that black life comes into existence for and say that that's okay, you love who you love? knowing the assault and the attack that happens on us in the collective, and then an individualistic fight. If black women and black men aren't together, there's no black children.
Right.
Hence, there's no black future.
Right.
You already at a minuscule rate
Mhm.
of coming together. Emotionally, psychologically, spiritually, the trauma and the drama that's associated with us, that we inherit transgenerationally, that we're here to clean up in our families, in our bloodline. You go get a white bitch. You go get a white dude. In the midst of all of that, in the midst of everything that's onslaught that's taking place, you not giving birth to black children. You not giving birth to black children. Allegiance confused children are birthed out of that instance. They're conflicted to where their allegiance lies and try to be balanced. It's impossible. And then the ones who run the whole gambit, there are no children that's coming from that existence. So the millions who saw fit, your allegiance is very, very clear. Just like in the mixed situation, you brought that out. If your mother is this or your daddy is this is where you're gonna go.
Yep.
That's where you're gonna go. You brought that out. You broke it down. Whole new world.
That's right. Look, they can't take it. They can't take it.
You be living in a dream world, Neo.
Sass, it's not right to, be like that to homosexuals and everything like that. I was like, look, people running from their own countries to the United States of America, running from the persecution of homosexuals to come over here to bring that nonsense over here. Well, Says that's not right. That's wrong. I said that is nobody but nature coming for them. Nature is persecuting them. Okay, so let that marinate in your mind for a moment. That's nobody but God. That's nature rejecting that behavior. You know what I'm saying? It's not natural. So
Right.
yeah, people are going to have a problem with that. Absolutely. So, whatever, try to make it whatever you think it is or however it should be, and whatever, it's wrong. It's not it's no balance in that. There nothing comes of it. It ends with them. That's death, right? So how's that natural? It's not. So I don't want to hear it. So shout out to the brother for fighting a good fight. This is what he does on a daily basis. That specific thing right there, and it needs to be dealt with. Um, but I had something to say about respect the persons, and of course I forgot. I don't have my notepad next to me, but we'll get into it. Oh, I wanted to tell you something interesting today
Go ahead.
that you know a woman told me today. She told me that the ancient Egyptians,
Oh shit.
yes, she said the ancient Egyptians did not look like the South Sudanese people. Like, see, I got a lesson today. I did not know there was a difference between the South Sudanese people and the
Yes.
Sudanese people. I did not know this, and
North
that they
Sudanese.
no, they don't call themselves North. They call themselves Sudanese. Like that's them. Like
Them
they
fucking Arabs.
right. Listen, right. Listen. She told me.
Them
She said.
fucking
I
pale
said, well,
Arab bastard motherfuckers. Yeah.
right. So what
Yeah.
I asked her. I said,
South
well,
Sudan. Go ahead.
no, I asked her. I said, do you know Ducky Thought? Everybody knows Ducky Thought. I love Ducky Thought. She's beautiful. Sudanese model, right?
Hmm.
Black
Yeah.
skin and tall, just beautiful, right? And she was like, yeah, I know Ducky Thought. She goes, she's South Sudanese. I said, oh. And I said, "Oh, so what are you?" "I'm Sudanese." That's what she said. I said, "Well, what's the difference?" And she said, "They look different. They look like Ducky Thought." I said, "Do you look like Ducky Thought?" She said, "No, I don't look like that." But earlier she said she's like a Somalian. So I know exactly what that is. I have experience with all that, right? So I said, "Oh, okay." I said,
You
"Well,
don't
can
look
you
like
give
no
me..."
Somalian talking that shit. A
Right?
Somalian look like a Sudanese, a real
So
one.
right. So I asked, I said, "Well, what's the difference between, what I'm saying? Just give me a background." She said, "Well, there was a war that happened." So, it's always a war. And I guess they won. So the black people were pushed down into the South. That's what it's always seemed like, right? We always in the South, right? And then the other people that look like her, they took over Sudan, right? So I said, "So all right, so she said earlier that the Egyptians, that the real Egyptian people are the Sudanese people." She said that. I says, "Okay,
Ah,
so right." She said that. So she's Egyptian, right? So I asked her. I said, "Well, um, what did the ancient Egyptians look like? Did they look like Ducky Thought?" That's what I said. She said, "No, they look like me." I said, "Oh,
oh shit.
okay." I said, "So the mixed people?" She said, "Yes." Okay, got you. Got you. That was all I needed to know. That was all I needed to know. So,
Didn't she have a statue picture of Queen Ty for her thing?
right, yeah. 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 I was like, "Okay." So so now I understand how you think. Now, and of course my brother had to tell him, like, if you look, what I'm saying, if you get what you're in violation basically. So you're in total
My
violation if you
brother,
do something like this.
my
You know what I'm
brother
saying?
from
And and
Elizabeth. My brother from Elizabeth off of Broad Street, North Broad,
mhm.
Elizabeth.
Yep.
Right off that main drag. You take that to 20, what is it? 21 over that way.
Talking about, wait a minute, North Broad Street and North Ave?
North Broad, that drag, when you coming off of Central Ave and it turn into Broad, then turn into North Broad.
Oh, that's North Ave.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could take the 21, yeah, on that, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
No. Is it 21?
The bus 21, yes.
Okay. Main Street or Central Ave? What's one on Central Ave?
No, it's not Central
24.
Ave. It's North Ave.
24.
It's, oh yeah, not the 21, the 24. That's what I meant.
Okay.
Because
Yeah.
you
We
have
say the same thing. Yeah.
Freeland Heights turns
Yeah.
into North Ave, and then North Ave turns
Right.
into North Broad. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. So off of that drag.
Right.
So my brother been living in Sudan before I was born. One of my father's children, my
Mhm.
brother. And he been living in Khartoum, the capital city, since forever. And he darker than me. You know what I mean?
Yes. That's black skin,
So
yes.
yeah.
Mhm.
So when you start talking about who's accepted where, he lived in Khartoum forever. He still live in Khartoum. So no matter what the fucking Arabs, pale Arabs is saying, or whatever this fucking dog is saying, because she don't live there. She live in the UK. You can hear that accent.
Mhm.
You ain't there. You're not there.
Yeah, it's a problem when you're not in your hood, and I've always said this to
Right.
people, even our
So
people. That's a
they
problem.
send
But go ahead.
they send these people somewhere to infiltrate and to spy and to learn how to take over some shit.
Right. That was where the conversation started going. Right.
It's
Mhm.
the same shit for Ethiopia and Eritrea.
Mm-mm-mm. I have experience with that too. Yes. Mhm.
There's a split. There's a
Right.
war that happened,
It's
and there's
always
a
a war, right?
split.
Yeah.
Right. Right. So in the
Yeah.
place where they don't let war happen, there's just tribal war. You still have a
Mhm.
Somalia. There's not South
Right.
Somalia and
Right.
Somalia.
Mhm. Right.
So they directed their war that they would happen tribally
A fight
after
over
the
resources. That's what she said
after
to me.
the
Right.
invasion of the U.S. military in these other places. They said, "Oh fuck that! We're directing the war towards the war effort
Uh-huh.
that unified Somalia. That didn't split Somalia." Like
Mhm.
it
Mhm.
unified Vietnam, it didn't split Vietnam. Like it
Mhm.
unified Korea, it didn't split Korea.
Right.
War united these nations. So they begin to move on their objectives. This is where you get the Somali pirates from.
Yeah, I have experience with them
So
too.
you
Yeah.
would get a Somali that would link up with an Ethiopian
Mhm.
and have a child,
Mhm. Yeah.
like a Ghanaian and a Nigerian,
Right. Mhm.
like a Ghanaian or somebody from the Ivory Coast,
Mhm.
or Nigerian in the Ivory Coast.
Mhm.
So the people, they're speaking all these languages. They're speaking French. So where can they go with their French language in West Africa? Senegal, Mali, Togo, Benin. And they say, oh, this is Songhay. So if you can speak French, you can speak Arabic. Now where can you go? Everywhere.
Everywhere. Yeah.
So, oh, if you speak French and you speak the language of your tribe, you can speak Arabic. Oh, you can speak Kiswahili. Now, where can you really go? You see what I'm saying? Oh, shit, you pick up English. You can speak Afrikaans in English. Where can you go? South Africa. All of it
Right.
works. It don't change nothing.
Mhm.
Wolof, French, Arabic, Swahili, all of these fucking languages. All work in tandem and push down the line. So again, back to the narrative that you was talking about, there's always a war. So who finances the war for the war to take shape and hold? This is some shit that they miss because they don't have no war experience.
Mhm.
Who's financing the war?
Mhm.
So this is how you got somebody with no political experience in the White House. Why? Because they fund politics.
Right.
And you can't pull no slick shit on a motherfucker who designed slick shit and who designed your paycheck. I don't know when the last time you seen that movie, Panther, not the Black Panther movie. Panther, the one from 95.
It's a long time ago. I don't remember. I saw it once.
With Mario Van Peebles and them in the movie.
Yeah, I only saw it once, and I don't know. For some,
The,
I'm not sure why I wasn't feeling it, but go
the
ahead.
white boy politician comes out and he's walking to his car. And the Italian mobster rides up and rolls the window down. He doesn't even stop, really. He stops for a second. He said, how you like that new house? He said, oh, it's great. He said, don't forget who paid for it. And pulled off. That's the end of the conversation. So you look like you want to have a conscience. Remember who's responsible for how you fucking live. So along with that, that means they know who your family are, who your children is, who those people that you love. They can know all that shit. And they can come get you whenever they want. That's what he's making plain to you. So in regards to that, when they set a coup into a place, Confessions of an Economic Hitman, destabilization, levy sanctions against the private persons, and then let the country insurrect from the inside out. And then you finance and fund both sides with weapons. Lord of War. Lord of War. Lord of War. So they show these pictures with child rebels or child revolutionaries who put the guns in their hand. So if they put the guns in their hand, who paid for the guns that's in their hand? All that shit works together.
Listen up, black people. Listen up. Kemet was never black. That lady took Kemet away from black people, took it away from Africa. What say you? You know, like you look, you can't go against somebody who is born and raised in Sudan.
Or the UK accent.
Right, like look, you can't go against that, black people, all you black Egyptian scholars. What say you? I need to know. I need to hear this. You know what I'm saying? Like because she just took it away from you saying, I'm the real Egyptian, not those Sudanese people. Absolutely not.
Not those black people.
Right. And I was waiting for the goat herder thing to come up because, in South Sudan, animals is what
Yeah.
makes you rich. Okay. So I've heard this before. Goat herd,
Like
Israel was a
Somalia.
goat herder. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Black
Look, you go
people,
back and look at Black Hawk Down. Remember that they was talking about it.
Israel is just goat herders and blah, blah, blah. Guess what? The South Sudanese are same way.
It's the same
Cows,
conversation
bulls,
that they're talking about with the
right,
Nile Valley. They start
right,
saying, "Oh, they was just farmers."
right. Oxen. That's what
Yeah,
make
so
them
you hear
rich.
groups like Reggie and the rest of these fucking miscreants running around, running with that narrative.
Right. And this is something that they purposely do not teach you in the black conscious community. Okay. Now ask them why they don't, but that's why I always tell people, please do your own research. Like I tell Israelite women, please study for yourself. Do your own research. You don't have to give it away. Let them talk. Let them look silly because they're all silly. Okay. But when we get in conversations with ourselves, we bring this out, educate each other properly because they don't know what they're talking about. You had a whole woman just tell you she from Sudan and she said ancient Egyptians look like her. These were not dark black people like they say it was. It's not the South Sudanese people. Okay? So I just wanted, I'm not going to put my opinion on that. I'm not going to say nothing. I just want somebody to come out and talk about this, and take Kemet back. Because right now it's gone. As far as I'm concerned, right now at this point, it is gone. Y'all going to have to bring it back home because, listen. So when I go to South Sudanese, I'm seeing people who are rich by how many animals they own, you know, and why they are investing in animals like they are, So we need to look at that too, But hey, you ain't gonna learn that. All you're gonna learn about is whatever they want you to know. It's sad, but y'all gonna have to bring Kemet back. All I could do was just laugh because it's funny to me. I was like, oh my gosh, because she just, what I'm saying. I hear what she was saying. I heard her. And there's nothing I could do but just like got a chuckle because I'm like, damn, she just killed a whole lot of people right now. They're gonna have to come back and show us, what I'm saying, show us what's real and what's not. Because right now, they're calling the Arab the Mixi Israelites, right? And I said to her, I said, well, Israel came out of Egypt. She said, yeah. And she said, yeah, I know that. That's what she said. But she said, I am not an Israelite. This is what she said. So it got interesting. I'll talk to her again, hopefully. You know what I'm saying? Because I have more questions, and she seems open to talking, to speaking about her own people and her country and everything. And I've not come across anybody like that who's from that part of the world who is so open like that to talk about it. So you can kind of solidify and just co-sign, and you can what you already know against what she's saying. There's some falsehoods there, but it's they're in the land and they say what goes, right? So you kind of like gotta now you have more work to do, basically, to try to show, because if all of them are saying no, these are not black people in Kemet, that's a problem. That's a problem, right? So what my next question would be is, well, why are you in Sudan when you're the real Egyptian? What happened? And there's Arabs there today. So I didn't go that far, but that's probably for another conversation. But I didn't take it that far. I didn't need to go there. I didn't need to go there. I was happy that she took that shot at the Black conscious community because they need a wake up call. They need to start being honest, and they need to start teaching about all African cultures. There is a whole continent, that they just hop and skip over and go directly to Egypt. And I understand why they go to Egypt. You said, you know, you went through all that. I understand that, but it's leaving out all of the other cultures in Africa, and it offends me, a little bit. You know what I'm saying? It kind of bothers me that we never hear about all the others. So that's all I have to say about that.
Get it. Shit.
You heard what my next question to her would be?
What?
If 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 she's from Sudan and she's a real Egyptian, what happened? Why are you not still in Egypt? Because today you find an Arab there. Like, what happened with that? What's the deal with that if that was the case? That the ancient Egyptians were Arabs, you know what I'm saying? Mixed people, because that's all it means. Mixed people. Why are you in Sudan and not in Egypt? Why aren't you not called the so-called Egyptian? That would be my next question, for a conversation. But like I said, I had to let it ride. I had to let it ride.
So the authority on the upheaval and removal, physically, emotionally, psychologically, and spiritually, of an entire people is hinged on the historical misrepresentation of a mixed dog. That's where we at. That's what we rolling with. That's the testimony right there. A mixed dog with a British accent. That's what's up.
Well, um, that was great because that's like, extensive research on Dinka tribe, and there's other tribes there too, but this was extensive for them, and understanding their culture and things of that nature. Um, yeah, like why would they look different? That was my question.
Yeah.
Why would you know what I'm saying? That was my
The
like
brown, the white.
because of war. That's what her answer was, and I understood completely. At that point, I understood completely. They won the war. That's what happened because they got to keep the name.
After
And
3,000 years.
right, right, and they got to keep the name, and then
Yeah.
the black people,
After
they got the
3,000
South
years.
name.
Yeah. That never comes into play. There's no about that because they start talking this philosophical BS to say, okay, there was no word for jail and all this old goofy ball shit that they got going on.
I remember reading in 2015,
You
the
talking about
president.
people?
What kind of people?
Go ahead.
No, no, I don't want you to miss. I don't want you to. I want to hear all that you're saying about that because I
I'm
want
not
to
gonna
add
miss
in.
nothing. You're good. Go ahead.
Oh,
2015
I
what? The
remember reading.
president.
I remember reading in 2015, and my brother Rob brought it out too. He was like, the president of South Sudan. And we was looking at what he looked like. He was wearing a cowboy hat. He had this big old beard on. A black man with a beard. Like they said it. Said, oh, Africans don't have beards. Anyway, he was South Sudanese. He had a full beard and he had on his cowboy boots because he liked watching the westerns, American westerns or whatever. He had his cowboy hat on, big fro, whatever. And he was saying how it'll always be war. He said he had rebels in his own country. Then he had to deal with Sudan. Okay. And he said he'll never give up. This is what he said. I said, that looked like my uncle. That like my uncle Jake. Like, wow. I didn't think that he would look like I was just taken aback. Like, this is amazing or whatever. And I remember the American media was trying to make him out to be a beast, like what I'm saying, like a troublemaker, a warmonger, or what I'm saying, when he was just simply trying to fight to keep South Sudan. And they called him a dictator and all these things. So yeah, that's what I wanted to bring out in that. So I mean the war continues. And then I read about Hollywood. Hollywood is all up and down in Sudan. That's just documents all across the board. You go to media, you type in what's his name? Damn it, what's his name? The one who was in Ocean's 11. I want to play Danny. Anyway, he's always over there. Um, Ben Affleck is always over there. Angelina Jolie is always over there. And a countless other white people from Hollywood stay in Sudan. There's a reason for it, right? So I just wanted to add that in there. Who are they actually over there for, and what are they trying to prevent? And and you ask where money comes from. So yeah,
Israel will prevail.
how you come back with that?
Uh, that's
I just like how things are revisited. It just come back. You know what I'm saying? It just comes back because
yeah.
I remember 2015 we were talking about the same thing, me and my brother. You know, he was talking up. He did a video. I'm in the because back there wasn't no chat board. It was a comment board, and and that's we were going back and forth about it or whatever, and putting articles out and everything. And it's just interesting how today it came back. Sudan came back into our conversation. So yeah.
You know what Biggie said, right? You remember what he said?
What you say? Said a lot.
He said, the rings and things you sing about, bring 'em out. It's hard to yell when the barrel's in your mouth. That's what he said.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So he was talking to them. It was time to show and prove. The rings and things you sing about, bring 'em out. So that means that he already had the drop on you. And so it's basically run your shit. The rings and things you sing about, bring 'em out. It's hard to yell when the barrel's in your mouth. Uh,
Well, there's a people must understand. All people must understand that uh you have to defend your people, yourself, if you want to have your own. That's just a fact, or somebody's going to come in and take it. This is supposed to be common knowledge. This is what happens in nature as well. When you go into the animal kingdom, even the plant kingdom, they study botany. You know, I got at least botany 101 under my belt. Even when you're dealing with the insects as well. I mean, they have their own colonies that get invaded all the time. I mean, this is just life, you know. It's called nature. One people wants the ability to survive, they're going to go feed off of another. And if that other one is weak, they're going to be taken. So, I mean, all this world peace and stuff like that, that is a concept some weirdo came up with. It just doesn't exist. You have peace within your own. And when you no longer have peace within your own, that means you've been taken, you've been invaded, you've been, I mean, destroyed. And then you have to work. It's hard work to eat to get it. It's hard work to maintain it and keep it. It just is. This is like an ongoing effort. And it passes down from generation to generation. You should feel sad for your children because because they're subject to this demon, this devil, this animal. Long after you're gone. But see, nobody wants to talk about that. So I'm gonna just leave it at that for that. But yeah, um yeah, those Somalis and those Ethiopians, the ones that the Arab ones, they ain't nothing to mess with. Like especially y'all in the water, man. I mean, that's talk about a thorn in your side. That's a thorn. That's a straight up thorn over there. But yeah, um, it's not enough to say that the lady did not know what she was talking about. You can't just say, oh, she didn't. No, 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 no. Y'all gonna have to deal with what she said because she just took it from you. Y'all just gonna have to deal with that. And be honest about the situation. I know that in Israel, and I'm talking about my people, am I talking about the state of Israel, those people, nobody's talking about them. We've been called all kinds of names, invaders, goat herders, all these things. When book says that they came out of Egypt, and everybody knows this, the lady acknowledged this, even growing up is in Islam. That's what she said. She understands this. Everybody understands this. So, y'all got some explaining to do. It's hilarious to me, but it's you can't come with, oh, she don't know what she talk about. She blah, blah, blah. Nah, nah, nah. This one was born and raised over there, right, and does understand that if Egyptians were ran up out of Kemet, and they were ran into Nubia, they're the Nubians, right? That will be what, Sudan, and you have two types of Sudanese people, but one of them are Egyptians, the other one are just goat herders. And the ones who are goat herders, animal herders, and domesticators, they happen to be the black skinned people. So y'all need to get to explaining what's going on. Um, SETI explained. I remember Sarah Soon said he was trying to explain all that, but guess what? It wasn't popular, so he had to fall back off of it. I just noticed recently he's trying to creep back into that, but he needs to be honest about the South Sudanese and the tribes there and what they're all about, because nobody wants to talk about these things. So, it's glorious how 5 years later we're back on this and speaking about it. Um, so yeah. Knowledge, where'd you go?
He died.
You did not. Um, any comments about that?
They got some explaining to do, like you said.
Right. It's not enough to say, oh, she don't know what she's talking about. Nah, man. You're not getting away that easy. You're not getting away that easy. And I do know a couple. The husband is Sudanese and his wife is Ethiopian, and they're Arabs. I know them. Okay, and they will tell you that Ethiopia has never lost a war. They've never been colonized. They'll tell you that in a hot second, and they have all this Ethiopian pride. And boom, that's it. So when the good book talk about Kush, I scratch my head. You know what I'm saying? Like, where the teachers at when you need them, right? Where the scholars at when you need them? But anyway, there was something else, and I can't remember. It had to do with respect to persons, but oh well. I guess I'll remember that later.
We ain't come here for none of that shit, surprisingly. Right?
Right.
We ain't come here for none of that shit. Look, that was all like intro shit.
Where are those panthers native to?
Which panther?
Black panthers, the animals.
Mm. Jaguars or panthers?
Panthers. Let me get that because
Go ahead, break
I
it
wanted to
down.
bring this. I'm not bring. I'm
Bring
just
it,
bringing it out.
bring it out. Okay.
Like panthers. See. Am I frozen? Okay, here we go. Let's see. Black Panther is a melanistic color, vibrant variant of any panthera, particularly of the leopard in Asia and Africa, and the jaguar in the Americas. Black panthers are of both species have excessive black pigments, but their typical spotted markings
Go
are also
back, go back,
present.
go back, go back. What did he say? What did he
What
say?
part?
When
What
the
part?
Jaguars got brought into the conversation. Go back. What did he
Oh,
say?
okay. It says a black panther is the melanistic color variant of any panthera, particularly of the leopard in Asia and Africa, and the
Oh,
jaguar.
you
What?
give it
Yes, in Africa. Yes.
right.
Hmm.
Distinction right there. Break it down slow. Give it to him again. Let him know.
A black panther is the melanistic color variant of any panthera, particularly of the leopard in Asia
Stop.
and Africa.
Stop.
Yes,
The leopard where?
Asia.
Okay. Look at the film. Where did it go?
I don't know. You gotta tell me. I do not like that
Yeah,
movie,
yeah,
but go
yeah.
ahead.
And then the next point. What's the next point after Asia?
And Africa.
Africa what? What was it?
And the jaguar in Americas.
Stop. South and Central America. The Plight, that movie Apocalypto. What was the boy's name who was the fucking hero? You remember?
No, I don't remember.
Jaguar Paw.
Ah,
That was his fucking name.
mm,
So the African from the diaspora that comes to fight the Black Panther, he's a jaguar.
right. Mm-hmm.
The jaguars have their roots where? You see that?
What, in Asia and Africa?
No.
What was the question? I missed it.
The third part,
Yeah, the
Asia,
Jaguar in the
Africa,
Americas. Hmm.
jaguar in America, right?
Right. The
So
black.
this is the grand unifier for the African that goes through the sojourn. From Africa to Asia to America.
Mm-hmm.
That's the sojourn.
Yeah.
So this becomes the process that's no longer looked at. They're like, no, no, we was from here and blah 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 and this and this. They stole you from here and took you to Africa and
They
took
were
you to Europe.
taken.
Right.
Right. Right. Right. Just like the
So
Panthers.
now they're
Right. Just like
claiming
the
the
animal
roots
panther. Right.
because the roots are in control of the fruit. So these artful anti-African sentiments cross
It's
through
a
from organization to organization.
right. It's a color variant.
Right.
Melanistic
Look. So
color
now
variant.
look.
Mm-hmm.
Look. Oh shit. Look
Yeah.
at this. This is gonna be funny. And you're gonna laugh a little bit. Not a lot, just a little bit. Our next subject, aka the reason why we're here, we got Cobra Kai versus Miyagi Do, right?
Right.
So the Asiatic or the Asia Minor situation versus what's here in the hells of North America. See that? It moves and it shifts in a certain kind of way to where the identification comes to all the way down to some shit we'll discuss. So I just put it there in regards to identification. Everybody chooses a side. So even this attempt where they start talking about, oh, this is the side of this and that, they choose a side, unbeknownst to everybody else that goes.
Let me see. Location. Cobras live in hot tropical areas
Uh,
in Africa,
mm-hmm,
Australia,
mm-hmm.
and Southern Asia.
Ooh, shit.
So where black people at? But whatever. Yeah.
Cobra Kai, 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 Cobra Kai. Oh, shit,
But
my
good.
bad.
But to get back on that Panther thing, I just wanted to, and yeah, they look. They didn't say that they were native to Asia or the Americas. Is that where you were getting at with the Panther? That they were taken?
Uh-huh.
Right. So we have the Black Panther movie. We know the star of the movie is gone. He's been eliminated. in my opinion. And we see the Burberry brand, that white evil brand, has a campaign out featuring the Black Panther. Um, and guess what? They say, well, it's to bring out or display the animalistic uh, ways of the woman. Now, they're not talking about black women. You're talking about white women because it's their ad and all you see is white people or whatever. But what you also see in the ads, not only just white people and the Black Panther in there, the Panther in there, you also see a box. And it's one of those big crates that poachers use to catch animals from places like Southeast Asia
Uh
and
huh.
in Africa.
Mm-hmm.
Now they don't explain that part because the models are dressed in safari gear, right? But then they'll say, well, this has to do with, you know, the animalistic, you know, I guess behaviors or whatever, and they're putting it on this white woman, but then got them in the boxes with the panther. It's disgusting. It's just disgusting. And this is not by accident. They do all this. It's all calculated. What message are they trying to send here? you know, like this stuff is evil as all get out. Okay, evil as hell. This campaign is running through Instagram and Facebook. I don't know if have you all seen these ads? I don't even search for or talk about designer bags or designer clothes and shoes. I'm not into that. Giving away my money, hard earned money to, you know, for
Yeah.
nonsense like that.
Or
Why is it in my timeline? You know what I'm saying? Because I'm black and they know what I search for. I search for black people, black issues, black content. And I'm also follow a lot of black creators. So this is how it gets into my feed and this is to insult me. You see how they do this? They have the crates up there. They don't address any of the safari gear, none of that. They just, they're showcasing their bags, their canvas bags. But in the background, you see Black Panthers and you see this white woman sitting next to, you know what I'm saying, in the same room with a Black Panther. She has no fear. It's as if her and the Panther on the same level. That's what it looked like. And that it will be easy for me to capture you and put you in this box. I mean, is that symbolic or what? Black Panther is supposed to be fierce, a force to be reckoned with. They put in an ad that this white woman is like, this panther is soft on me. I don't have to do nothing. I just put it in the box and take it. So, I can talk about this a lot, but I'm not going to. I just wanted to bring that out, with the recent events of losing the star of the Disney movie, you know, uh, uh, they call him Black Panther, but we know the real Panther who put his life on the line for his people, Huey P. Newton. That is the Panther in my eyes, and the only one, that we should be, I'm saying, and people who uplifted him, that's who we should be teary eyed and crying over. Okay? My opinion. But it's just, it's a shame that this brother over here who played the Black Panther has had to be a casualty. You know what I'm saying? And it's really sad. And then for them to come over here and shade us and sneak diss us with that ad, man, it speaks volumes of our behavior. You know, and they use symbolism. And I know people are saying, well, that's an African thing or whatever. But guess what? I guess they learned well, and we forgot, right? So yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that. We need to move on to Cobra Kai.
Cobra Kai, Cobra Kai, Cobra Kai, Cobra Kai,
Isn't that
Cobra
a
Kai.
that's a dope? That is such a dope series. I'm feeling it.
Hey, the black dude said it. He said, and a hell of a name for a dojo. He said that
That's
shit like
right.
45 times. Okay?
He said it's badass. Yeah, that's
A
right.
badass name for a dojo. I
Yup.
was with him. I was with him. Because the Cobra is not out amongst the stacks. It's not out there like a sidewinder or a python or an anaconda or anything. It's not out there on the hunt. And then you talking about not just a cobra, a king cobra.
Right.
There's discrimination between the cobras and the king cobras. So who do the king cobra look? I don't even want to talk about that right there. Who do the king cobras feast on?
Animals, right? The
But they
weak.
work in harmony with those who are around them. And for those who violate, they done for king cobra
Right.
with the cobras.
Now, did you go back and watch the Karate Kid? Because I didn't.
Of course.
There's gonna be some spoilers on this disclaimer.
I,
You know,
I watched all three.
whenever you messing with somebody's girlfriend, if you're a man, you messing with somebody's girlfriend, there's always gonna be problems, right? So that was basically what the Karate Kid was. And Cobra Kai, Johnny and Cobra Kai, he kept mentioning that he it was in love with the girl. He kept saying it was all about her. And he kept reiterating that all the way through the series.
Mm-hmm.
That was the issue. Daniel took his girlfriend, and he's not supposed to be upset, right?
Right.
Yeah. So when I was little, I didn't understand that, obviously. That was in the 80s, right? I didn't understand any of that. But once you grow up, and then when I was able to um, see that, the series Cobra Kai and the way he explained it, I'm like, yeah, exactly. Yeah, he took his girlfriend. I was like, yeah, I remember that. He took his girlfriend. And he explained how Danny was the one bothering him. And I remember saying, do you like how they did the switcheroo on that? But then more I think about it, like, yeah, he did all those things. He did all those things. Is this man not supposed to be
Out
mad
of
because he's
camera,
messing with his girlfriend?
brand new. Right. They had established a whole relationship and life together.
Right.
Along comes in. Go ahead. I'm back out
Yeah,
right.
that's
I'm
what you
leaving. I'm
said.
backing out right.
Right. That's what you're saying. Along comes in. That's what he said. Along comes in. And I'm thinking like, okay, yeah, yeah, okay. Uh-huh. And it ruined his life.
Along came a spider who sat right beside her.
Right. It it ruined his life. He said he said tournament didn't matter. It didn't matter that he lost it or he got in a fight with his sensei. It didn't matter. He lost the girl forever. his mind was on the girl the whole time in Karate Kid. The whole time. And that movie reminds me of Stomp the Yard. Same thing. I don't know if
Go
you
ahead.
remember Stomp the Yard. Same thing.
Yeah, go ahead. Stomp the yard, right?
Right.
And who were those people in Stomp the Yard? What sign did they have?
Um. Oh, they were cobras. Yes. Yeah, they were cobras. Yeah. Yep. Mhm. Interesting. Yes.
Right?
Um.
And they made them
And
look like enemies, and in what?
yeah, you have
They
the
lost.
cobras against the wolves, right?
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. So I mean, but once again, it's a message. You don't go messing around with somebody's wife. You know what I'm saying? Somebody's girlfriend like that. You just don't do that. That Daniel was in violation. Um, and the guy in Stomp the Yard was total violation. How was everybody able to sympathize with these people after what they've done? They've crossed the line into something sacred, right? In Cobra Kai, it destroyed Johnny's life because because just because somebody is well off, doesn't mean that they have the best life. That I know. That I know for sure. Like I know that thing or whatever. So Daniel assumed that he had everything and he was rich. Um, that he was a certain kind of way, and especially knowing with Cobra Kai, right? That he was a bully. They so rich people are bullies. That was what was put out there in the movie Karate Kid, right? So Daniel was the underdog, right? So everybody's rooting for the underdog or whatever. Now in Cobra Kai, Johnny is the underdog and Daniel is the rich bully. See how that goes? He's a rich bully now. And he didn't just use um Johnny made it clear that he had, all throughout the series, he has no experience with technology, nothing new. He's stuck in the 80s. Did you catch that? This man is literally stuck in the 80s. And that's called trauma, right? Or yeah, PTSD. That's a form of PTSD.
Yeah, that's real.
He was literally stuck, right? He was down to his car,
Right.
the music, the way he talked, the places, that he was telling the young boy to take the girl. I mean, he was literally stuck. Like that's where his life stopped, right there. Boom. Right after he lost the tournament, it stopped.
Boom.
Yep, it just stopped. So, but it didn't stop for Daniel. He got what he wanted. He excelled and became the rich person and then used that thing that all rich people use. Well, I worked hard to no, you bullied your way up there. That's what you did, Daniel. Like and they show him doing this throughout the series, going head to head with other dealerships. And now I mean being mean too. Did he not he didn't he knocked a cup of something he kicked it out of the man's hand in the dealership. Like what kind of temper is that? But yet he's teaching the Mr. Miyagi way of meditation and looking deep and not using um um and not using um and not to resist, only to defend. Like not going out there and fighting for what you want, when it's exactly what he does. So did you catch that too? He had a bad temper. You saw it when he did it with his daughter. He was just, this man is my way or the highway. He said another Cobra Kai over my dead body, and he went in with using not only physical warfare eventually, but then he used financial warfare, economic warfare, uh, mental warfare. He used all those things to try to knock Johnny out. So, what do you want to add to that?
Cobra Kai, Cobra Kai, Cobra Kai, Cobra Kai.
Other than that, what do you want to
When
add?
they ran up in that tournament into that other place, I was saying, "Oh shit!"
You had a flashback, right?
I did because that's how we ran up in the spots. It was like that, and there was nothing about this dude Daniel that struck me as he was ever even a student of Miyagi. All he showed was Cobra Kai the whole time.
He tried to bring that in, but
Look, and he failed horrible and miserably like that.
yep,
Not even talking about his students, just his life and his family life. He was envious over what everybody else had, and he wanted a piece, and he got a piece, and the piece was nothing for him. It corrupted him. Now, why would I say it corrupted him? Look at his family life. Look at his family life. Look at his daughter. Look at his wife. Especially look at his fucking son. His son hated his fucking guts. He hated his existence. He was still loyal to his family, though.
that's right. Yep. Kick his ass, Dad.
Right? We look. They had the table. The young boy talking to the young boy. My dad will kick your dad's ass. He said, "My dad will kill your dad."
Yep.
And that's not something that they bring up in regards to their relationship. This is him telling him, saying, "Okay, if I told my daddy this is what the end result would be. No question." And he didn't have it on the other side. So the false analogy in regards to that is he got to deal with home. He's not ready because it's a situation of his own making. Danny wasn't shit. The whole city, nothing. A moocher, a liar, a manipulator, and a misrepresenter. That's the game, though. They play the game.
Johnny's childhood destroyed him, and therefore it helped to destroy his son. So look, I have
Yeah,
sympathy for
yeah.
those who
Johnny's
have bad
childhood
childhoods.
destroyed him, and
Hmm.
when you look at all of those other ones, including Johnny's son, looking to be accepted, they got accepted where they could go in.
And Daniel being a piece of crap didn't say go to your father because you
So
do
yeah,
have a father. Piece of
because
crap.
his son was already a piece of shit. His daughter tried to play a role, but it is what it is.
So so what motivated him to open up Cobra Kai was a young boy. The fact that he got fired from his job and the young boy who wanted to learn how to defend himself, right? So um, he opened up Cobra Kai, and I wondered for a moment, like, why would he name it the same thing? It's because it's all he knows. Basically, that's where he found refuge from his family life was at the dojo. Um, so that's what happened, and then I mean, it started off rocky and everything, but because he didn't have any clients, and once again, his lack of being in, the 2000s, because he was stuck in the 80s. He was advertising the old way, taking flyers and walking up and down the street. I thought that was funny, the old way. Um, and we made this return back to that. You never know, right? So, so that's what he did, and um, he taught the boy all he knew, and the boy was able to defend himself at school, which got the dojo um, attention, and then everybody wanted to be trained. So that's how he got his. That's how he got the large amount of kids that he had, and then they went to the tournament and won. Um, and then Kreese came back, his sensei, right? Johnny Sensei came back. But in all of that, he was teaching his kids to show no mercy. You just don't let nobody walk all over you. You know what I'm saying? You have to put your mind into it. You are what you think you are. You know, um, don't let anybody get away with anything on you or whatever. Let them know from the get go. And he understood that it had to be like a physical thing. That's how he grew up, and that's just basically old school. But I mean, at the end of the day, when you run out of bullets, all you got is your fists and your legs. So, just saying, right? So you better know how to spar, um, and learn how to use sticks and things like that. Um, so, anywho, so I think Johnny was trying to change all that at the tournament because it was his son. His student had to fight his son who was under Daniel, right? So he started backtracking it. Like I think that was the point where he started backtracking. Like we're gonna change. I want to change our motto. We're not gonna go with strike first. You know how that goes or whatever. And I think he only did that because it was his son, and he knows how the Cobras get down. Like, and I just want to speak to um the to what Johnny was saying, and this goes for life, and this is why I feel like everybody else has a foot over the black community is because number one, they don't fight fair, and if you know this, or I know some people try to block that out and everything or whatever. They don't fight fair, and if you dealing with a people who don't fight fair, you need to deal with them wisely. My scriptures say that. So what that means to me is you got to play. What I'm saying, using their tactics against them. Okay, and that is a war strategy. That is to use to defeat your enemy, right? So, um, he already knew that his kids were gonna go in there and do some messed up stuff to win. He already knew this because it's no mercy. What I'm saying, take them down. Forget about these rules because we know it's not fair. We're gonna win here. Um, and also, you get points deducted. So if you did something crazy, you did. So they'll take the point, but they injure you, and then they go in and exploit that injury. And remember, I was asking you, like in karate tournaments, is that frowned upon? Because in the movie Karate Kid and in the series, they're looking at that as a bad thing. Exploiting the injury. When we know that is that's how you attack your enemy is when at their weak points. Everybody knows this goes for real life, right? So why wouldn't it be okay for the match? Is it that is it the rule? He didn't break any rules by exploiting the injury. So there were no rules broken. Only the rules where you were deducted the point. Which is a strategy going in, right? So, um, um, it is harder, and it can take uh time to beat your enemy, if you don't strategize against them. If you make an injury uh, to your enemy and you allow them to heal, they're going to come back stronger and take you out. So, um, like if anybody wants to talk to me about this and try to show me how I'm wrong in any of this, I like to have that discussion. Um, there's when we go to the shores of Africa back when translated slave trade, even before that, what were the Africans doing to combat their enemies? They weren't fighting fair. They used warfare that the enemy didn't know nothing about, who was not equipped to handle, and they used those weaknesses to destroy them, right? So we got to be careful. You know what I'm saying? What's fair to one people may not be fair to another. And this is why you can't negotiate with certain peoples, because their whole thought process is different from yours. So what you have to do is adapt theirs and attack them with their own, ideas. Plus some of yours, or probably plus a lot of yours, because what we know is that nobody fights fair. And the whole point of going to war is winning your peace, your physical peace, your emotional peace, everything. That is the point. Because if you lose, guess what? You're in servitude to those people. And that is just life. And that's just nature. So, anywho, of course I had to apply it to, how I do. Have to apply it to, real life. But yeah, what did you think about of that, what I just talked about? The no mercy. I could let me pull a scripture out. David said, man shows no mercy. No one but you, Most High, shows mercy. That is what he said. So my scriptures deal with that. So what that means is you got to go to war. You got to go all in, and you got to beat your enemy, period. There's nothing that you don't do, you know, as long as you win, right? And the crybabies, the losers always cry, right? Oh, we weren't playing fair, and yeah, crying and everything, yeah. That's for the birds.
That's right.
Anything you want to add to that?
I love the series 100% because it gets not only into the mindset and the motivation behind our enemies, but also the behaviors that's associated with it. Because when we start talking about unity and unifying principles, our enemies can unify around the distortion and destruction of us that they do perfectly.
Right.
But the subsets in regards to the justification of the internal war about each other. So that's there. He called his prize student, his number one student, the one that brought the recruits to the table, Menudo. You remember that?
Yes, he did. Yeah, he
Called him
did.
fucking Menudo. It means nothing. It meant nothing to him. Nothing. His family meant nothing. His family's plight meant nothing. All of that. All of this shit looks like that develops as happenstance. So
There's a
we
part in there, and to speak to what you were saying, that what there was a part in there where Hawk said, "I'm only I was only an enemy to you for one day, but we're Cobra
right,
Kai." That's what he said. See that there, that internal issue right there.
right,
It didn't stop nothing on the outside. The external, they all came together to defeat, and you saw them do that several times throughout the series. They all came together to destroy, you know what I'm saying, the enemy. But they had some inside issues they were dealing with at the same time, right? So yeah, the unity thing. And just to add something, of course, the NFAC went into Kentucky, to the Kentucky Derby today or whatever, and what I saw was some silly black people talking about, I went, telling these cracker militias, I mean, over there trying to negotiate and have meetings with these. No, um, no, saying, "Oh, we don't even like the NFAC." Like right there, that was a problem right there. So at that point, you deserve to be destroyed, okay, by that cracker militia right there. Number two, when they asked you for your leader, okay, you want to have a meeting with us crackers. He basically said, "Who's your leader to set this up?" Oh, we don't really have a leader. Right? Number two, boom. You deserve to be eliminated. But I'm gonna back up. That was the third one. The treasonous comment was number two. Number one, you walked up to a cracker militia with unarmed. That's number one. You deserve to be eliminated. What kind of nonsense was going on today out there? You asking to be killed. When I say deserve, it means you're asking to be killed right on site. This is not something you do. And it's because of the lack of organization and unity, like how you just said. There and what do they call it? What did you call it? You called it I don't know, did you call it guidelines? I don't know if you called it guidelines or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Something that everybody can all agree on, that this is how we're going to do this, and this is how we're going to attack the issue. There's nothing. It's non-existent. You're not going to survive that way. It just doesn't happen that way, right? And we learned through the TV series